no. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to class number 7 of the QuickBooks course. So tonight we're going to have an introduction to inventory, which people were asking a number of times. So here it goes. Give me 1 second. I'm going to post on the whiteboard a series of the steps that we're going to be doing tonight. Give me 1 second. Okay. Put the recording back on. Okay, start again. In order to do inventory, we have to enable a setting in QuickBooks to track inventory. I'm going to turn on, I'm going to show you right now before I share screen. Sharing the QuickBooks screen. Okay, let me see here. Log in a second. Yeah. Okay, with the webinar. Okay, so we have here, we're going to go to edit. I'm going to go to preferences. Again, once we'll go to edit, we're going to go to preferences. And we're going to go down the menu to exactly where it says items and inventory. That's this alphabetical list. So by items and inventory, we're going to go down and we're going to go into company preferences tab on the right side, not on the far right where it says, okay, we have to go to company preferences. And we're just going to enable, I guess, but maybe it wasn't checked off. So we're going to check it and we're going to have inventory and purchases orders are active. This is what's supposed to happen. So I'm going to wait a moment for everyone to go and do the same thing. You go in, because without doing this step, we will not be able to do anything in inventory. We'll go to edit as we did before. We can go to preferences. The drop down, that's the last one on the menu. And we're going to go in the left pane is items and inventory. And we're going to go to the middle where it says company preferences. And we're going to make sure that inventory and purchase orders are active. It should be checked. Then lower down, it gives you other options. Do you want to be warned when you're selling more than a hand or what's available? That's not for now. Let's take the default, what QuickBooks says. And now that we have the box checked, we can click OK. We're going to have inventory options enabled. And then we can go back to what we all know by now. We go to lists, the item lists. Now we can create an item, not only a service, not only other non-inventory parts as you saw last time, but now we're going to see a new item. If you go to item list and you go Control N, everyone remembers that shortcut, item lists. So again, lists from the menu, item list is the second thing, and you go Control N, you will be able to have a drop down where it says inventory part. So we'll get to inventory parts. And I'm going to go now share the screen to give you a preview of what we're going to do tonight, and then we're going to go back to do the steps. So let's see, stop this share a second. And I'm going to share another screen. This is for inventory. Okay, now I can share the screen. And we see over here, we're going to enable the inventory tracking and edit preferences inventory. Then we're going to create an inventory item called TLS. And in the description, we're going to put Tikkun Leil Shavuos. Baruch Hashem, the shuls are being open. And since we're a company, we do it all, even though we were only started to do a service. But we're going to jump on the bandwagon, and we're going to go into business by selling a few extra items of inventory. Now, I wrote over here what we're going to do is before purchasing inventory, we're going to add 30 TLS, which is short for Tikkun Leil Shavuos, to opening balance. Basically, we didn't go out now and purchase. We went, whether it was in an old warehouse or storage room, we didn't know it existed, and we found a box since Tikkun Leil Shavuos. So this was never on the books of the company. Okay, it's not like we have, if you know, on the balance sheet, you have what's cash in the bank. We know we have our furniture. We found a box of Sepharim, or someone gave it to us for that matter. It's a material for this point where we are donating, we're giving to our business 30 TLS. It's not a purchase, we're gonna add it to it. But there is a cost price to it. And perhaps we have to dust it off, we have to clean it up. There is a cost to get that into service. That is $2, but we're gonna sell it for $10. And we'll skip that. We'll get back to the brackets that I put later on, because this is for a second stage. I put in each step what the effect has. We're gonna review it afterwards. What we have to do now is we have to add 30 TLS to the opening balance at a cost of $2 each and a sales price of 10. Then the next step, okay, I'm not doing this, I'm going through all the 6 steps that I have here. We're gonna have Rabbi Cohen buying 10 TLS. Rabbi Cohen is already a customer, if you recall, he's the rabbi. He has the open balance of $200, so he's gonna buy 10 TLS and he's gonna pay his outstanding balance. Then we're gonna go and we actually make a purchase from Makar Sepharim. We're gonna buy another 50 TLS because a lot of shuls are opening up, capped at 10 apiece. So we are going to have 50 TLS that we're gonna purchase for resale, which will bring our total to 80. We have the 30 original TLS that we added. We're gonna have the 50 that we buy from Makar Sepharim is 80. And we sold 10 to Rabbi Cohen. We're gonna go through the math later, but we have to go sell now 10 to the Gabbai of Shemri Shabbos, which we'll get there. So now we're gonna go step by step. We're holding now step number 2. We already enabled inventory and tracking edit preferences. For anyone who just signed on now, we'll show you one last time. Okay, we're going back to the share screen from the QuickBooks. And we have here, again, we went to edit preferences, edit drop down to preferences. We went to the inventory, or it's items in inventory. We went to company preferences and we clicked on inventory. We made sure it's checked, we clicked OK. What do we do then? We go to the lists, an item list, and then we go Control N, which is for a new item, and the drop down is for inventory part. It's something which, as it says, used for services you charge for purchases. Actually, sorry, inventory part. Used for goods you purchase, you track as inventory, and you resell. And you'll see over here, there's a drop down. There's the item name you can give to it. Similar with the service items, just like we have HK for housekeeping. You have GC for general consulting. So you can put here HK. I'm not going to fill it out now. I'm just showing you. We have here the cost of goods. And we're going to have here a description when you buy it and a description when you sell it. It means when I buy this item, there's a description which I do to my vendor. I purchase from my vendor something, and I tell him, what do I want to get from him? And that might not be the same description that I'll have on the sales transaction on this side when I sell it to my customer. On his invoice, I might say something different. Now, I'm going to X this out a second. Here, TLS, I created this, but I'm going to go through all the steps that you do. If you had opened this up, you would type over here, TLS. This is short for Tikkun Leil Shavuos. And I actually put in the description, by the customer, I put here, Tikkun Leil Shavuos. So these are the 4 pieces of information you need to give to QuickBooks in order for them to track, to create invoices. You got to give it an item name, just like we have a services. We give it a description that's optional but recommended. But TLS must be there. You need an item name and a cost. You see here, here's the cost, $2. I'm going to enter $2. $2 for cost and $10 for the sale price. I'm going to wait for everyone to put on first, to go now create a new item and do these 3 steps. But TLS, put in Tikkun Leil Shavuos, we'll put in the cost at $2, and we'll put in the sales price for $10. Now QuickBooks will be able to track what is your cost for every sale you make, and what is your price for we can charge a customer. No, we don't have the story of the person who came to Chelm and wanted to buy a dozen bagels, and the person said, "Can you please buy 6 because I am losing on every sale." We want to make money. That's what we're in the business for. So we have to make sure cost is $2 and sales price $10. I'm going to look at the Q&A if there's any important questions here. Otherwise, okay, so we repeated the steps for Mr. Deutsch, who asked that. Okay. So Ms. Deutsch, you probably have your own software and you have accounts enabled. So just put in by account number 20,000. That's just a meaningless number, but that will help you to get to the next step. Okay, everyone's looking at my vendors. I just happened to add Machane Yerushalayim. We're going to add it today, but that's doesn't make that vendor. Okay, yes, we have to. We didn't click OK yet. You cannot click OK because you get one chance here to put on. I have here what says on hand. If you would have a new one, you're going to have one chance only to enter a 30. We said we're adding to owner's equity 30. And I had gone through the steps of my software, which I'm going to demonstrate to you. I put in the 30, I sold to Rico, and that's all off the 20. But you have to go from the beginning. So you have Control N, and you'll see you have now a window in the drop that when you did Control N, you have here on hand. This is, you could start from 0 and now you start purchases, but you have one time where you can edit this. And this is where you have to put the 30. And automatically, since you put your cost at $2, total value will turn to 60. QuickBooks is very smart and it knows that if you take 30 items with a cost of 20, now you have a value in your inventory, in your warehouse of 60. That's going to be your opening balance. So everyone, when you put it over here, TLS, and you're going to enter Tikkun Leil Shavuos. It was Tikkun Leil Shavuos. I put caps here. And you're going to put over here 2 for cost. And that's a COGS account. It's the cost of your goods. It's $10. Your income will be sales. That's your income. And you will enter here 30. So this is step two that we said from the steps we're doing tonight. We're going to put TLS, put the cost, the sales. You have to choose. So these are the three things you must do. We do the item name of TLS, you give it a cost and sales price, and you give it an income account. After doing those steps, then we could go over to on hand. That will end up being our opening balance of inventory. From there on, we're going to build on it. When we sell, that 30 is going to go down. You buy more, the inventory will go up. And you see, I put in 30 and the value is 60. The value here is not the sales price. That's related to income. When I make a sale of 10 books, it'll be $100. That's going to be my income, my revenue increase. But my value before pre-sold, what is the value to the company of the item itself? It's 60. 30 times 2 is 60. I am not going to save it because I already did it, but you should do it right now. Okay, we did the TLS, we did the $2, we income account sales, we put on hand, we have 30, this way you're going to enter. You only get one shot at it. There's a complicated way to do it if you messed up, but hopefully before you press okay, do it on hand. And you get 60 as a total value. Okay, and you click okay. And then you'll show up over here, TLS. Now you have no idea, we have the 3 service items, and we have TLS. And TLS will be Tikkun Shavuos. It's an inventory part. That's what differentiates this from everything else, which is services. It's sales. And my total is 20, but yours should be now 30. And it says what's your sale price is $10. Okay. We answer this. So whoever just showed up 3 minutes late, so we just did that for you, for MT. Okay. If you pressed okay, this is for Shoshana. I'm not sure if you pressed okay after you did all the steps or you did it without doing it on hand. So I'm not sure what your question is. Again, for Mr. Anonymous, company preference. You know what? I'm gonna share for a second again the other screen so you know where to go. Stop share screen. You're back over here on the screen. You have in step number 1. You go to edit, preferences, and items and inventory. And you go to the middle tab, which is company preferences. That's for anonymous. And you have to make sure that inventory tracking is checked. Okay, Mr. Thomas, why is there only one channel on hand? Because this is, once you can't play around with inventory directly for purchases. You decide now what you have in your inventory, and now inventory that defeats the whole purpose. We want to keep track. We make sales, we reduce our inventory. We make purchases, we add to inventory. QuickBooks has to have one fixed number. You can't arbitrarily come and just make adjustments to inventory. That's left for Mr. Accountant once a year, but not for every bookkeeper to adjust the inventory. Okay, again, for that, you have to enable the inventory and make sure it's checked at company preferences, and okay. I don't have the answer to why the asterisk is there at the moment, but as long as you're with us, okay. Preferred vendor. Well, we don't have a preferred vendor right now because none of our vendors that you had sold you Tikkun Shavuos. You're not buying from Canadian from this paper, even though this paper might have found it in his warehouse. But that's probably why I put a Malcha in Yerushalayim, just I created it when I was just running through my things, but I didn't make any purchase from that. Who should we put preferred? That's your thing. What if you buy more? It's a very good question. We're gonna get there, step at a time. So we did step 3. We added 30 to opening balance. So you could refer to that, what's posted on the screen. You could alternate from your QuickBooks to the steps. So I didn't give it to you to print out. You have it posted here. Step 3, we added 30 TLS to opening balance. That's what we put on hand. You made the cost $2. That's a carryover from 2 steps on top of that. And the sales price is $10. Now we're about to make a first on hand means that we have it. What is available? Anytime you make a purchase, QuickBooks is going to add to the on hand. So for those coming later, on hand means what do we have available for sale? Right now, we have 30 available for sale. We're going to sell Rabbi Cohen 10. So then the on hand is going to change to 20. You cannot sell what you don't have. If you sold 10 out of your 30, you're only going to have 20 left. Okay, so now we're going to go over to make our first sale. And we're going to make $100. So sales and sales income, it's really the same thing. It's not. So this was not emailed, and that's why I'm leaving it posted for most of the time, besides when I'm on the QuickBooks. I'm going now to QuickBooks. We're going to do step 4. Step 4 is Rabbi Cohen buys 10 TLS, and he's going to pay his outstanding balance. So this is really 2 steps. We're going to make a sales receipt for 10 TLS, and we're going to receive a payment for his outstanding balance. That's the proper way to do it, because, or you could also create an invoice with 10 TLS and receive payment on both. But right now, as I said, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go back to QuickBooks, and I'm going to reshare QuickBooks now. Remember, because this what I'm doing now is so we know how to do invoices. I'm reinforcing the skills that we learned from previous classes. So company customers, we go to, and there's sales receipts, right? There's invoices where you bill a customer and sales receipt. These are both in actual sales. If you were just creating an estimate or sales order, it's pre-sales. But these are sales receipts. He's walking in. There is no time for shipping. Shavuos was in 3 days. Today was Memorial Day. He wants to make sure he can't sleep at night. He wants to know he has Tikkun Shavuos. He's getting 10 of them, so we're going to put in. We're just going to type C. When we type C, we're supposed to show up Cohen, Rabbi Cohen, and I'm going to go straight down tabs. As I said, do keyboards. We don't need to go fishing with the mouse. Now I went too much, so I'm going to go Shift tab, and I'm going to back up. That's reverse. For those who didn't know how to reverse in tabs, this is not unique to QuickBooks. This is in all Windows applications, I believe, which form fields. So I'm going to type in now TLS, and wow, TLS tells us Tikkun Shavuos. Very interestingly, we're going to have popping up a little amount, a little bar telling us what can I sell. You don't want to oversell. It tells you on hand you have 20. You should have 30, because I went through the process of entering 10, but you should have 30 showing over here. Quantity on hand is 30. The sales orders, assemblies, it's not far for us right now. Quantity available is 30. You should have 30 and 30. So let me go back out of this. And you're going to put in 10. So TLS 10 for $100. And this is 525. If your date doesn't show here, you go T. And you're going to come up to today's date. Now, I'm just going to close out. I'm going to say, but you should click Save and Close. When you go through the step, you do TLS 10, Save and Close. And you're going to see, you're going to have a new invoice, as I have over here. Customers, I have a sales receipt. And this is the sales receipt. You have TLS 10 for $10, and this total is 100, and you close it. Okay, I'm going to pause for everyone to do the sales receipt for Rabbi Cohen, who now, you'll see, he only shows a $200 about, that's his open invoice, which you're going to receive payment in a moment. But the $100 that he bought today, he paid on the spot. Whether the check was for 300 total or was 2 separate checks, that's immaterial. Yes, quantity on hand is what's available. But there are different levels of quantity available. No, we're not going to get into that now, but for now, quantity on hand is what's available. How do you delete an item on your item list? You could probably right-click on it and delete it. Let's go to item list. And if you wanted to right-click, and you could delete an item. Make sure you cannot delete items that are associated with invoices. So if you already put that into the invoice, it's probably not going to delete. And assuming, for again, Mr. Anonymous, assuming that you enabled this is the last time people still didn't do the first step of enabling. You're gonna have to wait till line 40. We're gonna have today probably finish like line 40, and we'll have like half an hour, 40 minutes till 10:20. The Q&A, audio enabled, one at a time. Okay, so let's see here. We have, if you enable the inventory, then in your item list, you'll create the item with a drop down of inventory parts. That's for you. This is your third sales receipt, correct? This is the doesn't make a difference if it's sales or sales income. So, Mr. Friedman, did you enter 30 on hand? When you create the item, you have to put in 30 on hand. That we inserted it. Otherwise, you're not going to have anything to sell. You'll be selling over inventory. It's TLS. I know a lot of people need TLC over here, but this is TLS. Perfect. Cohen paid. Doesn't make a difference how you paid. Cash, check. By default, we just received $100, and when we go to make the deposit, we'll find out what it was. Okay. So final. When you end TLS, if you're still creating it, right? You see right now that we made a sale, you cannot adjust it on hand. On hand will be adjusted by your purchases or by your sales. When you sell more, on hand goes down. When you buy more, on hand goes up. But the first time before we actually sold anything, that is the time where we can enter the number, which I said 30. That was the number we chose. And now our average cost is 20. We're going to learn about what's called technically perpetual inventory, where QuickBooks will adjust the amount of our inventory. That's what it uses. There are 4 basic methods, and we're going to stick right now with the QuickBooks method, which is average. And adjust an average. For example, if I would go now and buy more Tikkun Shavuos, and it's going to cost me $5, so QuickBooks is going to take the average of my new purchase and the old one, and it's going to adjust that total average of what per piece. Even though I buy new ones for 2, but my average cost will always be 2. If my new purchase will be for 3, then if I have 20 for 3 and 20 that were there already from 2, now my average will be 250, and QuickBooks will change it to 250. And that's important to know, because as we sell something, then it becomes an expense. I'm going to recap what I wrote in the email. When I have $100 and I go, it's a $100 bill, and I change it for 250s, did my cash go down? No, I still have $100. I have 250s now, but it's $100. I change the 150 and I get 2 20s and a 10. I still have $100. It's just that the denomination of my cash is different. If I take my $100 and I bought, we bought a computer, we said it made it clear it is not an expense. I changed from cash form to equipment form, it's still an asset. The same thing as inventory. Inventory is an asset because it's worth money. It's worth money because I'm going to sell it and turn it into money. My used toner cartridge is worth practically maybe $1 if I change it in, but really it's really nothing. I bought it for $20 and I used it, it's worth nothing. So that's why supplies is an expense. You use it up. Paper is an expense. Tissues are an expense. Inventory is an asset. But when you make a sale, those 10 Tikkun Shavuos do not exist anymore. They're poof. They moved out of our inventory. And that is when we finally recognize the expense of not all the 30 or all of the technology was. Only what I remove from inventory becomes an expense. And the title is called cost of goods. So if you remember, I said in the first or second class, there are different types of expenses, better ones and not so good, right? So the best thing, you have bank, that's cash in the bank, that's an asset. We have furniture, it's an asset. Cost of goods is the best expense because it's an expense that brings money. Advertising is a lower thing, it's an expense that brings money, but you paid it right away and it disappeared. Will I get a customer? Perhaps, hopefully, but when I paid advertising, it's gone. Cost of goods is a good expense because you only recognize it as you make money. Before you made money, it was never an expense. It is an asset. When I make money at the same time, so I only recognize expense with a revenue. That's the best way. Imagine all our expenses only become expenses as you make the money. So that's as far as advertising expenses or other things. When we go down to payroll and salaries, that's money that's gone. Let me go back. So now that you know what's on hand, it should be only 20 by you. Click and save. Save is always on the bottom. Save and new or save and close. That's an better. Sales and sales income, just it's nothing. You might have different categories of income like we had in the service business. We had in the previous one from Zoom Consulting, we had hardware, we had consulting, we had tech support and everything. So if you want to categorize, you want to see which dimension of your business brings you the most money. So you give a sales account and then you can make a report later on and see which branch of my business is making more money. There's also ways to, if you have multiple sites, if you have a site that in Borough Park and one in Lakewood, and you want to track the sales, we're going to learn also in a future session after Shavuos about classes. You could give, it's all one cost of goods that you bought, and you're going to divide among stores, but the income will come from different stores, and you want to see which store generates more revenue, and you could divide it. If you have to close down a branch because it's costing too much, you can do that as well. That is not for this class. That's a teaser. Okay. I'm not sure why you have to make an email. There's no reason to make an email over here. Let's close one. Let's go back and dismiss. Going through the questions here. That was answered. So again, the cost is $2, the sales price is 10, and you have to enter 30 on hand. And we're not going back. Any questions in an hour from now? Okay. Someone's asking, why is there 2 cost of goods in the list? I don't know. I only have one. I have your TLS, inventory parts, sales. Go to my chart of accounts. I have here, yeah, there are 2 cost of goods. Good question. We'll look into it. One actually has an asterisk and one doesn't, so that probably answers the other question. I might have just created an extra one. For the purpose of this class, it doesn't make a difference, but you could right click and edit it, and you could, you can't get the same name, so let's just leave it as is right now. You might have given a new name, cost of goods, when we created TLS, and we didn't have to give it a new name. But right now we're trying to figure out how to go to step number 5. What is step number 5? We're gonna post again. We're gonna share the screen from. Okay, actually I just went out of it and I was there already. This is our screen. Okay, Rabbi Cohen now has to pay his outstanding balance of $200. We're gonna receive a payment. And then we're going to go buy 50 more from the car Hassafarin. It's still in business. Hope so. Anyway, let's go back to QuickBooks. We're going to do two things. We're going to receive a payment of $200 from Rabbi Cohen, and we're going to buy from the car Hassafarin. Okay. I'm going to see, maybe I don't have to keep it start and share. We're going to see that next time. We can just go back and forth. Okay. Again, how do we receive payments? We go to customers and we receive payments. That's one option. And that's what I'm going to do for today. Like I said, there's many ways to do things. So we'll do it now from the home screen. But because I did it from the home screen, I have to enter the customer. QuickBooks doesn't know. I just said I want to receive payments. So I have to type in Cohen. Customer payment. See from, let's see why it didn't come down. You see customer payment. Oh, sorry about that. Let's stop share. Okay. Share. We do it all. Okay. Okay, we're back here in the right place again. We're customers receive payment. What is it? Customers receive payments. Here, customers receive payments. That makes more sense. And we're going to put in C for Cohen. And we have an open invoice of $200. And we'll just click on it. And QuickBooks assumes that we're getting $200. And it reminds you, and I'm going to click do not display this message in the future. We're smart by now. Anytime if you don't enter amount, it's going to calculate the invoice that we clicked. Okay, so you should not see this in the future. We received $200 today, and we are going to press save and close. So everyone, we received the payment from Rabbi Cohen, and when I go to make deposits in banking, what should we have here? Let's see if intuitively you're going to guess. Well, we know we received $100 from Rabbi Cohen previously for his 10 TLS. We just received $200. Is that the only thing that's going to the bank? Do we have any undeposited funds from previously? So let's see. Banking, make deposits. And we have, yes, these $300 we're going to deposit today. We're going to assume we went to an ATM today. Chase lets you deposit up until 11 o'clock, same day. So even if you get off the phone, you go $300, and I'm going to make deposit. Again, so what we did now is we received the payment from Rabbi Cohen, the $200 on his invoice, and we make a deposit, which is going to include the $100 we got a few minutes earlier from the TLS, Tikkun Shavuos, and the $200, and it's deposited to Chase. That's the only bank account we have right now, Chase. And we're going to press save and close. So now we have still at 20 left inventory, very good. And let's see our Chase register for a moment. Remember, we were overdrawn last time. Now we have $618. Okay, so this is a check. Please look in your Chase register. Do you have $618 in the bank? If yes, we are in good shape. If not, we have to find out what is different. The only thing we changed, if you recall, we added $70 in the bank that we backdated. Once upon a time, we added $250. This is a review from previous class. We should have now $618 in the bank. I believe most of the people who stayed on the call last time got their bank balance and their net income for 2018 to match. If not, you have a second chance tonight at 9:45. Yeah, for now, again, sales and sales income is all the same. You could always rename sales income to merchandise and sales to services. You could do it how you could customize it really however you want. And we didn't even look how the Cohen paid. We got the $300, we deposited it. That wasn't being get for today. That's for Morty. But in the future, you should, when you receive a payment, you should keep track. You should write down, receive payments. It gives you an option on the top, cash, check. If it's a check, you would write the check number. It would be that option. If it's a credit card, you put the credit card number. If you get a chargeback, etc. Again, anytime you want to know quantity at hand, you go Control A. Control A is a chart of accounts. And actually, that's not Control A, chart of accounts, inventory assets. Inventory asset will only give you the total value of your inventory. Our inventory right now is $40. And you could probably guess, if I sold 10 at $2, I took 20 out of my inventory. It's not here anymore, it's sold. And by extension, you could probably guess that, oh, I had an expense of $20. So we had an expense of $20, and we took out of our inventory $20. When I put a question, can you guess what the debits and credits are? So let's see if we can guess what the debits and credits are. There are two sets of debits and credits. There's the cash that went to our bank or that we received. That's $100. That's $100 undeposited funds or $100 in the bank. That's a debit. The credit will be the $100 of revenue. It's a debit and credit. They match 100 each. Then there's a $20 debit and credit. $20 debit and credit is $20 expense. We got an expense of the cost of goods. We have a $20 credit we're removing from our asset. Remember, you reduce your assets by making a credit. Now, how would you check that out? So we would go to, and then I'm gonna get back to see what's your quantity on hand. You know, the value of inventory is $40. If I would go to lists, chart of accounts, I'm sorry, lists, item list. This is where we got to check. TLS will tell us 20. Item, this is how we track inventory. Inventory part is 20 total. That's what's left. And anytime you make a new invoice, it's going to tell you how much you have left in inventory. Let's go back for a second to customers. So jumping around with the customers center, we got to go. We're going to go to Rabbi Cohen's invoice. And I'm going to show you a second way to do it. But first we go to customer center. We're going to go to Rabbi Cohen, his sales receipt. Remember Rabbi Cohen's sales receipt of $100? What really happened? It's only $100, right? He bought something for $100. If I go Control Y, what happens to do Control Y? We're going to see Control Y shows us debits and credits. Yes, the sale price is $10 per unit, but we have two debits. We have a debit of undeposited funds, as I said. If he would wire it into our bank, we'll go right into our bank. Any money received, QuickBooks puts into undeposited funds. It's not yet in the bank. When we deposit it, we'll make the reverse. We'll credit undeposited and debit chase. So we have $100 received. It's an asset. We have a $20 expense. It's an expense, but they are both on the debit side. We have sales income, $100 up. And we're going to have sales of inventory, $20 removed out of our inventory. Again, this is a review of sales of debits and credits, which when we make the end of year entries in the summary, I think we said we'll do it next class. We're going to summarize some more debits and credits. So we're reinforcing the debit and credits entries. So now we know that when you open a sales receipt, when it's an invoice of $600, let's say it was an invoice of $600, Control Y is simple. it's $600 received. And it's $600 of different service revenues on the other side. Right? We have $600 accounts receivables if it's an invoice. If it's paid on the spot, it will be $600 going to deposit funds. It's a simple and debit and credit, $600. But the sales receipt, even though it's only 100, it's attached, it's connected to other things. It's connected to removal of cost of goods. It's connected to taking off inventory. And that's why that 100 is attached to extra debits and credits. It's not just $100, it's really 120. And there's a matching one on the other side. Okay. Now, again, we're going to review one more time. How will you check your inventory balance? You go to lists. Why is this moving on me? We're going to go to lists, item list, and we see TLS, you see $20. This doesn't bring us our carrying value because you can't always go and know, have 20 items, 20 tikkun shvuos. So this will tell you how many you have, you have 20, you have 30, you have 40. But your inventory can always keep on changing in value by buying more svarim, more tikkun shvuos at $1 clearance, at $4 price gouging. So in order to check your inventory value, that you will look at chart of accounts, Control A, inventory assets. Now, the wise among us will also know you don't have to go to chart of accounts because we have our balance sheet. Balance sheet gives us our value of our company. And lo and behold, now we have an inventory asset of $60. When was that $60? That was $60 when we added. I did this yesterday, so it was yesterday's date. But it was $60 when you add the $30 opening balance, you get $60 inventory asset. What we'll do if I go plus, which means tomorrow, right? Because the date will be 5/26. The inventory asset is only 40. Why is it only 40? Because we sold 10 of them. We reduced 10 times 2, right? We took away 20 from our inventory. Now our asset is $40. Our chase, we said, is $618. So this is a summary. We don't have to open separately, go to the bank and see how much we have in our bank account as we did before. We went to banking. I went to banking register. So there's some electroactivity going on that's just bouncing around. Okay. I went to banking. I went to use register to pick up my bank balance. Okay, got 618. Or if you would have gone to Control A, which is you get a list over here of assets. You get the 618 from Chase. From Chase, you have your open invoice accounts receivables. It was 415 if you were up to date last time. And now we check the numbers. It's only 215 because we received 200 from Cohen. Our depreciation, we know, is 240. We did that last time on the furniture. We have a value of furniture of 2,079. We have payables, but this is really our assets, our equity. But in the balance sheet, it's going to give us in a report style, whatever we have over here. These are the permanent accounts. Why is everything disappearing in expense and income? Because this is not a running balance. This closes out. Every year we start again. We have new income, a new expense for the year. That is what you find on your P&L. If you remember last time on our P&L, reports on our P&L reports, P&L standard, we had about negative 791 or something like that for the year. Sorry again, reports. Company, my mouse is not displaying games here today. Reports. I'm assuming use my keyboard, it'll be faster. Company, financial, and profit and loss, and press enter. And now I'm going to press see, I already hear them up to date. So all I'm going to go do, instead of going through the whole menu, which we know we go Alt down gives us the menu this fiscal year. What I could have done is just go to, if I was in fiscal year and I was highlighted, I would just go Tab and I'll press Y. And Y will give me the beginning of the year, which is really the same result. Not actually, I'll put R over here, give me the end of the year. Now we got the whole year. So we were net income 951. Why is it 951? Because we got now, our income went up this year. It's 1810. We could double click. Do we have all our income for the year? Let's see. Double click, right? Zoom is double click. We have 100 sales receipts from Harry Cohen, and you have the other sales receipts of 1710. We were holding 17. We had a total of 1780 because we included last year's income from Fiber's Glick. But this year we have 17. We had 1710. We added today another 100, and now you see sales and sales income. Sales in this case is a breakdown. Sales represents our merchandise sales, and sales income represents our service sales. I'm taking a pause here to see if people have still difficulty on any of the questions that we did, and we're incorporating the review to make it as we go along. Now, sales information, it's inventory, but sales information is more info. This is an old question from 8:30. Okay, we're up. Okay, we're up to the 849 questions. How do you go to the bank register? You do Control R. Control R gives us register, and you choose Chase. That is for ST. Rabbi Cohen's example, so this is 850. I'll walk through one more time. We go to customers, enter sales receipt. Customer, enter sales receipt. What you would do is you would just type in TLS. Once you set up items, it's so simple for QuickBooks to run your business. That is why it's QuickBooks. We're gonna say, we'll assume it's Rabbi Cohen again. I'm not gonna say it. Don't say that if you did it already, Cohen, Rabbi Y, and you make two, you could press cash. If I press space bar, I'll probably select the cash. So space selects. Next tab, the date, 5/25. Sale number 4. It's really only 3 because we have Cohen already. And I go to item TLS, and here you get a little note. They could check, how many can I sell? You cannot sell 30. What would happen if I did 30? If you didn't do it, you could sell 30, but we already sold 10. So I press tab. Look, you only have 20 at hand. You don't have sufficient to sell 30. Okay, well, let's say you do an override. You would like to learn at back orders, customers. So maybe you're going to make a receipt for 30. So I could sell 20 and then 10 of them is back ordered. So that's a separate thing, which we're not going to do today. But this is what you have to know. So now that we got the note reminding us that you can only put 20, I will put in 20. Actually, we're doing 10. Again, whoever was doing Rabbi Cohen, you put in 10. And QuickBooks will say right away, it's $10, it's $100. You should do save and close. And I'm going to go clear because I already did it before. Okay, let me go back to the questions. Where are we here? Q and A. Okay, so we did Rabbi Cohen again. How did we pay the $200? We didn't pay it. We received the payment. How do you receive payment? You go to customers and you go you can either go to the home page, which is company homepage, and then you go receive, and you receive payments, right? It's going to give you an option, right? Company, home page, and you go to the customer section. You will go to receive, the right side, receive payments. But we cannot. But then when we click on receive payments, it doesn't know which customer. So there's another step you have to do, and choose Cohen. In my case, I'm not going to receive a payment. It's not going to show me an invoice because we close that as invoice. If you want to skip a cut short a step, you go to Customer Center, drop down, you right click on Rabbi Cohen, and you go receive payments. Receive payments. And then when you go into receive payments, it's already going to have Rabbi Cohen here. You're trying to create a new payment, but you already have one open. Discard changes, discarding everything. Clear. So now you know how to receive money. If the check bounces, we'll get to that, be it next class or after Shuas. How do you deal with money going back? For all practical purposes, we're hoping that nothing is going to bounce. To deal with unexpected, we'll deal with that as an extra. How do you do with pay? That was that. Whereby okay, so Irina's going to wait till 9:45 to get her questions more detailed. Sam, I could. What does QuickBooks choose? Probably your last default. What did you have? So if I would go to the bank, I go to my bank, which is Chase, and I double click on the deposit. We deposit 300. It's split. Remember, we said split means because it came from more than one source. On the previous deposit, 250, that is that is all from Ruvain's equity. This is a split entry, so I double click on it. And let's see if it gives me a detail. It says that the 200 was a Visa. We were calling paid with Visa last time. Payment method is blank. So the answer is, if you never selected a sales receipt, the payment is blank. We'll probably could confirm that also from the last $70, $75. It was zero. When you choose something, the selection is green. And that's how you know here probably the payment method was blank because we didn't tell it. And the computer has no mind of its own, can't guess. You don't tell it what it is. Okay, that's for that question. No, going back to Q&A. Still we'll do it all. Nothing changes here. So the answer is Mr. Alter. Let's see, we're about 856 question. Yeah, we deposit the Chase. I was just looking at Chase to see what the method of payment was, and the answer is it's blank until you select. Once you have a selection, we'll use a default. Okay. Mr. Katz was asking, why is the 20 debit not by Rabbi Cohen? So if you go to P&L, it's not Rabbi Cohen's expense. It's a general expense. Go to profit and loss. You'll see a new line item now called cost of goods sold, $20. The cost is not Rabbi Cohen. Rabbi Cohen didn't cost you money. It's the items that you sold that cost you money. And that's double click on it. It's $20. You could see, yeah, it is associated with Rabbi Cohen. So if you drill down, as they call it, you just double click and zoom, you'll get to where that cost came from that sale. But as far as P&L, there's no expense called Rabbi Cohen. The expense is cost of goods. And if you look at the cost of the profit and loss, you have a new line, which is called, before was total income and gross profit were the same. Now there's a difference. Income is my original income. Everything I bill out for, everything I sell is my income. Then my cost of goods to make that income gives me my gross profit. So originally my income was $1810. My cost of goods was $20. My gross profit is $17.90. Then when I go through all my expenses, then I get from my gross to my net. Similarly, you have a check. You have a gross paycheck, and then you take off all the deductions, your taxes, and you have your net check. So your net income goes from a plus of 1790 all the way to a negative of 951. But the reason why you shouldn't worry, because this is a very good business. We prepaid our rent for 2 months, right? So let's say $750 a month. So we already paid that. We have a computer. We have a copier machine. Those expenses, okay, those were assets. Those are assets. It wasn't an expense. But we advertised 250. And right now, I could sit here as we're going to learn today in step 6, and I'm going to have another session of someone who's organizing his house, and he's going to pay me $700. And all of a sudden, I'm going to close the gap of my net income, and maybe we're going to have profit one day. Let's see. So let's go back to before I go to the next step in today's menu, I think we're step number 5 or 6. Did we purchase the car? No, we didn't do it yet. We're going to do it shortly. That we're holding the 9 o'clock question. If you have 318 and Chase, it means you did not make the deposit. Rabbi Cohen, go to banking, drop down, make deposits. You should have Rabbi Cohen's $300 deposited, and that's your answer for Moshe. Okay. We answered that. How do you change the bank register? It only shows by the bottom. Again, if we're in Chase, and at the bottom, we have all the shortcuts. Where do you want to be? My B says 524 or 25. What do you want? We have all the shortcuts. When we go to 5-1, press M. That's the beginning of the month. When we get to the end of May, press H. When we gave you the shortcuts, we also told you that point of reference will be the beginning and end of the word, year. Y brings you to the beginning of the year, to January 1st. R brings you to the end of the year. It's December 31st, etc. for the week. But a week is tricky because it's a week, a calendar week. Doesn't mean 7 days ahead, 7 days back. It's beginning of a calendar week. Once you do it once, then every successive K will get you 1 week further, or every additional W will bring you 1 week earlier. T brings you to today. So was a question from, okay, Judah, please wait for 9:45 and we'll start going in the order of questions. How do you change the data answers for Avrami? That's on the bank register. And bank register, that's if you're entering something, and reports is likewise the same thing. Record means to do the entry. If you don't press record, if you were just started creating a deposit and you don't finish the thing, it doesn't actually save it. And there's some people who at this stage, people were saying that they had beeps going all the time. They want to turn off the beeps. And I told them, okay, turn off your audio. And someone said, oh, I'm not going to hear you talking. So it's another preference. Edit, preferences. And we're going to have a class just going through all the preferences by leaving, maybe it's in general or something like that. Beep, when recording a transaction. So you take off, this is where you have the general, you uncheck beep, and then you'll be able to hear me, but you won't get the beep on every transaction. But some people actually like the beep. It's like, okay, got it done, next. It's like mission accomplished. So that's up to you. We showed you go to preferences, general, and then there's a beep and you take off the beep. Okay, so now we're going through, we're gonna do the last 2 questions, and then we're gonna go over back to the next steps of today's, what we're supposed to accomplish. Yes, of course you're depositing Rabbi Cohen's money quickly. How do we split an expense between 2 companies? And how do you split expenses? That's not for now. Again, with the course, you'll learn how to do your own private companies, or how to, maybe there'll be a last session additional of how to do this, how to do that, personal. Right now, we are going through a program. Okay, Moshe's like, you do payment, it's not a $300 payment, it's a deposit. Payments are on the left side, deposits are on the right side. Okay, we're up to 9:14, so I guess we're ready to do Makaris Farm now. Those remembered. We did not purchase Makaris Farm yet. Very good. This is for Judy, for Anonymous, and anyone who asked that. Okay, let's see here again. Where's my... Okay. Did it come up? No, so I actually have to stop the first share, new share. What's it? Just go directly to new share. I could go seamlessly. I think that's what I do. Go straight over to, so you don't have to stop it and start. Let's see, new share. Yeah, beautiful. I like that. Get good every day. We're going number 5 and number 6. Let's see if we can memorize this. I'm going to start. We're going to do 2 things. We're going to do purchase from Makaris Farm 50 TLS. We're going to sell 50, 25 TLS to Gabay of Shemri Adas. You know, maybe his name is Mr. Gabay. He's a Gabay. So what do you do, Mr. Gabay? Gabay, Mr. So 2 things. We're purchasing Makaris Farm 50 TLS. And QuickBooks is automatically going to know what is our cost, $20 and $2 a piece, which will be $100. So the choice will be entered automatically, unless you customize it yourself. You're going to edit it. We're going to sell 25 to Gabi Radas. Because he's buying bulk, it's not 10, it's 25. And he's reselling. He has to make a couple dollars. He'll get a discount. He's going to pay only $8.50. And HK, 5 HK, 7 GC. Shemri Radas needs a workover. Shemri Shabbos, excuse me. So he needs housekeeping. They got to clean up. They got to get a bunch of ideas how to move things over. So that's going to be a nice income here. I see here $800 income without the sales. Okay, let's see this. 2 things. We're going to purchase from Makaris Farm 50 TLS. I'm going to do it one at a time. So similar to buying from Essence. Remember, we just did a sales. We just purchased. We paid it. We got a vendor. Enter bills, pay bills, or create purchase order. Let's see. We are enter bill for received item. Let's go straight to enter bill for received item. This is similar to what we did before. Just like you create an invoice for a customer, and then you could enter sales receipt because there's no invoice he pays on the spot. We could enter a bill. That's when you get a bill from a company like Edison, but we're not ready to pay it yet. We could create a purchase order or receive items and enter bill. You know what? Let's receive item and enter bill. Let's do this one. This is probably more appropriate. We're going to receive items and enter a bill. How are we going to do it? We're going to get to Shmuel Raven. I see people raising a hand. We'll get to it in a moment. Enter a bill. We don't have Makaris Farm yet, so we're going to create him as we go along. We type Makaris. Here we have Mechan Yishulayim. That we'll do the next order for Mechan Yishulayim. We'll get some business. We'll support Eretz Yisrael. But right now we'll do Makaris Safarim. HaSafarim. Makaris Safarim tab. Quick ads. We're not on the vendors list. 1 second. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to shoot a new share. So sorry. I have to do a new share, right? Let's go back. Okay. Thank you. Okay, good. We have attentive students. You know, people always say we make a mistake just to see who's paying attention, right? Okay. So Q&A poster here. So this is what we did. We go. I just went to vendor. No harm done. Vendor. And I'm gonna do receive item and enter bill. It's all in one shot. Receive item and enter bill. Okay, and then I got into Makaris Safarim over here. He wasn't there. I typed in Makaris Safarim. I pressed tab. It gave me quick ads. As we know, it's the same format to give us whether it's customer or vendor, and we say it's a vendor. I go to item TLS. And let's see what happens. If I go item TLS, see, cost. We know automatically it costs $2. Description. The description is, well, we don't have to do the description. They know what the description is. Now, you might want to double check over here for a second. What's quantity? Quantity is We have, how many? We have 20, right? Because let's say I'm doing, or the guy standing outside my store right now. I got on the truck. I'm about to deliver. How many you want? So 1 second. Let me see what I have. I don't want to overbuy and get stuck and have to have storage until next year was, right? So give me, I'm going to tell you in a second. We're doing it one shot. We're entering the bill. I'm going to double check my quantity. I don't want to go over 75. So in this case, I said we're going to do 50. So I entered 50. When I do 50, tab, automatic, so the cost is the same, it's $2. The amount is $2, that's for each one. Press tab. Let's see, interesting, what's going to happen. I'm going to press save and close. We're not paying right now. So if I go save and close, what in effect happened? If we bought 50, let's walk this through and see if it's correct. We bought 50. We should have now 70. In addition to having 70, what's our inventory? Well, we had 40 before. It cost us $100 now. We should have $140. Let's double check these two. Double check. Is my inventory? Inventory is only 2 because it only counted as 2. It didn't multiply it. So let's go back. Let's see my list. What's my list holding? My list is 21. Somehow it only showed that we did only 1. So let's go back to the correspondent. Okay, this is whoever wants to know how we correct a wrong invoice for a customer, the same way as we do a wrong invoice for a vendor. We go to Vendor Center, go to TLS. No, that TLS is correspondent, and we'll double check. Negative. We go description quantity. Quantity is 50. Let's see, go in here. Oh, so okay, that's the answer. Description is, you put description 50. Description, we have to look at quantity 50. Quantity 50. Now it makes sense. Yeah, I put 50 by description. So whoever knows it before, and you raise your hand, you get points. 50, it's $2, and that's why QuickBooks calculates automatically it's $100. Okay, so now we can double check our two things. First of all, we just save transactions down balance sheet. Oh, let's revert again. Because again, I remember I told you last time, if I make an edit to something on the bottom, I have to manually change the top. That means like this. Had I not had an invoice that said 2 before, right? So for the invoice, and I put here 50. Let's not listen. Let's see. And the 2 multiplied by 100, automatically my bill will be $100. But because I'm editing the bill, which previously said only 2, I have to manually put in 100. Manually edit it. This is the same thing if you have the same issue by an invoice. It will be the same thing. You get a blank. You could go straight in. If I'm, this will be for Mr. Someone. If I was buying 10 items, how do I do the calculation? I'll put in if I was buying Tikkun Lashvuos, and if I was also buying the same person has in his truck, he's giving me refreshments. He's selling. Okay, I'm not reselling it, so it wouldn't be an inventory item. But maybe Makaris Farm happens to have an extra box of cake that I could use at my ticket at night. I would enter TLS 50. I would enter in right over here an item for food, and I would put in meals. The item is associated with an account, and it will increase my bill. Automatically, the bill drove. But because we're editing it, it's still $100. I have to go manually. Okay, now let me save and close. And now the invoice is Taka. Not $2, it's $100. Now it's $100. I can go back, Control A, chart of accounts. My inventory is worth 140, correct, because I added $100 of inventory and I had 40 before. Now let me go to my item list. The list items, we have 70 in stock. This is beautiful. You see how QuickBooks keeps track of our purchases. And if you double click, just to be sure, you have on hand. If you didn't believe the small screen, you have the big screen. You cannot edit this because this gets affected by my purchase. I bought 50 more, it grows. If I'm gonna sell now 25 to Gabbai, My on hand will be 70 before I sell it. When I sell it, it'll go down to 45. And you see how inventory is an interesting topic. It could take a whole class just inventory. And all the reviews that I wanted to do today was basically incorporated. We control R, we register with the shortcuts, we're reviewing. And next class, we're going to go over, and for those who want to double check tonight after 10:45, making sure that your invoice numbers are correct, making sure your bills are correct, your bank balance are correct. Let's take care of this tonight. Hopefully we could do it in the 45 minutes from 9:45 to 10:30 or to 20, depending on the time. So we'll go tomorrow and go to end of year adjustments. Okay, so what do we still have to do? We have to sell to Mr. Gabai from Shemer Shabbos. So we're going to go Control I. Control I is make a new invoice. I'm pausing. I'm not going further. I'm waiting for everyone to do that, what I did before. Do Makaras Farim. Do the purchase. Okay, yeah, I'll run through the step one more time. So it doesn't, this is new, but once we do the next purchase, it should be simpler. Again, vendors, receive item and enter bill. I'll go right click just to see have it all filled out. Vendor. Which vendor was it? Who's the, over here you can have date, reference numbers. You don't want to get charged twice for the same $50 of 50 tikkun l'shuas, right? So you might put a reference number. If they send you a new bill, say you forgot your truck driver dropped it off on me last time. Now you want to send me another invoice for your place. So that's why you have your cars. You can put in the date. If you put T, it will be today's date. That's if you want to find the bill. Find it till the end of the year. Actually, you are for the end of the year. And I'll find my invoices, which is 100. This is an invoice. This is a way to find, this actually showed me how to find an invoice, but this is how you would enter it. You go Makaras Farim, you type it in, you do quick add when it asks you, and you put TLS, you put the quantity as 50, and QuickBooks does the rest. It knows already the cost because you created the item last time. You have $100, and you save and close, and Baruch Hashem, we go in business. And the same thing for whoever asked about their jewelry store. You could create multiple items, 100 items. Every time you restock, you will create it. You could have from one vendor, you could put in 20 items in one bill. You don't have to make separate bills for each item. We only make tikkun l'el shavuos, but if you're reordering 20 pieces of jewelry and it's the same distributor, you put in on the bottom. Don't do the check on the top. You go on the bottom by quantity, by the items. Again, if you recall, when you do invoice, quantity comes first, and item comes second. When you were making sales invoice, sales receipt, item comes first, quantity comes later on this side. And the same thing probably by a bill. What are we doing now? We have to sell 25. What are we selling 25? TLS. Who we're selling it to? It's tikkun l'shuas. No, but it's not $10. We're going to override it. We'll do $8.50. Let me pause, see if everyone caught up already. Did you know that you can set custom pricing for different people? Of course, we want to learn about it. So I'm going to leave this to remind me next time. People that buy bulk, you want to have one rate. People that buy less, have a smaller rate. We'll get back to that. These are very important things, not only for merchandise, even for services. If someone is a steady customer and comes to you every week, and it takes an hour of consulting, and you send them out a cleaning lady for twice a week, two times. He says, but give me a good rate, give me a discount. So you'll have a discount for him. You could show it up in your bill. You could create a discount on his bill so he could see every single time. You see, I applied the discount. Or you just give it a lower rate. Let me go take a pause a second. Let me see the questions that are coming in. So that answers the questions from the purchase from America. So we're by 9:15 questions already. Okay. So there's multiple questions. We're just gonna take that. QuickBooks done. Dismiss. Can't see the screen. Wow. It's like in a shoal. We should have one dedicated screamer because everyone calls out. Same thing. Okay, beautiful. So dismiss. Okay, that was a bunch of things coming in. Start your screen. And that's why I have a second screen open in front of me so I could see where I went wrong. Because when I share screen, I can't see what you see. I only see my screen. So I have a second thing here. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Raven. You caught the mistake, so you get points. You caught me last time, so you get double points. Okay. And Mr. Anonymous, you get also. Okay. Wow. This is interactive. What happens if it costs more to purchase? You would override it, just like in this case, we're overriding the default of $10, making $8.50. When I was making a purchase, if it was all of a sudden costing on Erev Yom Tov, and it's in demand, and it's going to cost me $5, I'm still making, right? I'm selling for 10, I'm making money. I would love to get it still for 2. So then you would overwrite the 2 and you'll make it a 5. And then we'll calculate 50 times 5 will be $250. So we'll do that at a different time, but we don't have to do that now. This was better. We're about 925 questions. Good, we're catching up. Why don't you have to in the quantity box to see the amounts you have? Did you originally put in, this is for Shoshana, did you enter the first time on hand the 30? There are ways around it, but I hope you did. Okay. Okay, Mr. Berger, in the scenario you just gave, the delivery took it outside, you checked the cart inventory in order not to overbuy. If there was a back order, you would see that as well, so you can buy some extra. Well, we didn't oversell yet, so you don't see a back order, but potentially that's exactly what I said. There's differences. What does on hand mean? There's on hand available, there's on hand. See, sometimes you have an order of someone who's, I'm coming next week, so you sell it. So you sold him the 20 and there's nothing left. But you have an order, someone coming in today, and you know that tomorrow I'll get a new shipment. So technically what you're doing is, according to QuickBooks, it's still sitting in your warehouse, but you are overselling, right? You're overselling because you're using someone else's order. And that's the difference of quantity available or quantity in the warehouse. Let's see what the items list. We're going to lists. I don't want to get too much into this because this is, I say, I try to do everything twice. So if we do inventory again next time, we'll go in detail into that. But if I go over here, I have here on hand still have 70. Within some Gabi, I want to do that one sale. But you'll see there's a way to see on hand. There's different levels of on hand. We'll see that shortly. Okay, so let's see if there's no other question I have to do now. I'll do that sale to Mr. Gabai. His invoice, and then we could open the question and answers, which I think Amuna says they don't have enough quantity. I'm not sure why. Dismiss. This is very useful. So Amuna will stay on for 9:45 as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Anonymous. Do we have to the screen you have open now? No, this I was trying to see. I'll show you that little when we sell to Mr. Gabai, I'm going to show you the different levels of invoice. We're going to do by Reichus next time. Okay, well, we've entered customer. That's where we are. We got carried away. Enter customer. We'll get to the 9:30 questions after this thing. We were by create invoice. Okay, we're by Mr. Gabai. I'm going to post the screen again just to double check what we're really doing for him. If you remember, we're doing, and I'm after the class, I'm actually going to email you. You don't have to print it every single time, but I make new adjustments to the file every time for various reasons, not because, well, it's a work in progress. You know, for the next course, we'll have I could reuse this curriculum. But another reason is because new share. Let's see here. I started giving you the running balance that you could use in future times as checkpoints. So you don't go to step 9 and realize that you are, okay, we're gonna sell 25 to to Mr. Gabe of TLS, at 850. We're going to charge him 5 HK and 7 GC. So let's do this first while we're still on memory mode. And see, Baruch Hashem, we budgeted a nice amount, and not too much, not too little. Let me go back to my new share. See, now before I do it, I'm going to remember, we do it all. That's the company we're doing now. And we have here TLS. So I'm going to enter another item. HK is 5. Oh, quantity, sorry. See, you have to remember if you're an invoice or sales receipt, you can start typing in the item, but we're not ready for the item yet. First goes number 5. Again, we said if you don't do anything, it assumes it's 1, not 0. Because if it will be 0, it'll be 0 times 0. 5 HK, get another $100. Beautiful. What's it called? This is Windows 7 GC. Okay, $1,000. Wow, I think we went into a positive income for the year. 7 GC, $100. Housekeeping is 20. I'm sure Mr. Gabi would come back and say, please give me a discount, just like I'm buying so many Sfarim, you give me a discount. I need a discount in 7 hours. We'll discuss it at a different time, but right now we're creating the invoice. We like to go into, we want to go into a positive mode. I'm gonna, the new customer. Of course, we're gonna go again. Customer is Gabai, comma, Mr. That's how we do it. Gabai. So we have alphabetical. Gabai. I'm sure that the wise men among you even know the Gabai's name. We're doing Mr. Gabai. Now we're gonna go set up. And what's the backup? Because there's not any Mr. Gabai off the street. I have invoice billable to Gabai. He's representing Shomer Shabbos. And Shomer Shabbos has a lot of pushkas and a lot of minyanim. So we know that we can always come there and hang up the open invoice if we don't get paid. Right? He's not Mr. Ploni Almoni, if you remember what we call. He actually, we know where he comes from. Gabai Mr. Okay. Shomer Shabbos. Okay. And I'm going to press save and close. And I'm going to wait for everyone to do this thing. View product invoice. I could have packing slip, pop invoices. There are different types if you were nonprofit, but we're still doing this a regular product invoice. It's not just a product, it's also service, it's a mixture, but we're doing save and close. Okay, now when I go over here, right here, it doesn't tell me here. Before I go out, I said when I put the 25 on hand, let's see what's happening here. There is on hand. There are sales orders. It's reminding me that if I would, every sales order which was ordered already, I'm going to sell. I didn't leave my cup. In other words, it's 70 still in my store, but I have orders of another 40 that didn't go out yet. So 40, 25, yeah, I can still cover it. 40, I have 40 and 25, 65. But if I had already orders for 50, right? Even though they're picking up next week, I want to, be sure. In my order, I'll double check with the supplier. Are you really coming tomorrow? Because I already sold for pickup on sales orders another 50. I could tell Mr. Gadai, and you're getting a discount. I'll give you 20 because I don't want to, make someone upset that I sold. And maybe he's counting on reselling it for $20, and he's going to, depending on the income. So this is different levels of quantity on hand. Let's close this. Let's save the invoice, and now you can do the invoice yourself. And we'll do a quick summary in 5 minutes. 9:45, we're going to go to Q&A. Close. Mr. Gabai, save and close. And we see right away we have 45 left. So 45. And the P&L, we'll look at the P&L shortly. Let's see Q&A. And the customer. So we have enter customer. That was the guy that takes care of him. Anonymous. Yes. So people intuitively know what they're doing, and it's the same answers for Judy. And Muna says, I have 21 in stock. What do you see where error is? Well, maybe you did the same thing I did. You only entered 1 when you bought the 50. That's probably what happened. So if a simple fix for Amuna, if you put originally right 30 and you sold that, you should go back to your purchase from Makar's farm. Go to customer, go to vendors, Makar's farm, edit the invoice, move the 50, which I put in originally by description, and change it over to the quantity. And then you'll be able to fix, that'll be good for you. 1 second, I think did I just fall out? Zoom, that's Mr. Anonymous. How do you edit an invoice? Double click, go into it, just type away. You highlight what you're doing. So that's for Mr. Anonymous. Same as a bill, same as an invoice. Okay, there's 2 cost of goods, there's 2 inventory assets. There must have been an error with the setup, but for the purpose of this class, it doesn't make a difference right now. And I believe we are up to date with the questions. Okay, so we answered Amuna and go back. So any questions until now were answered already. Answer live. Almost done. Okay. That's probably Mr. Berger. I made a comment. Okay, we always got about further enough time. Okay. Now, if you think you're getting too cluttered, you can always go to Window. There's many windows open. We have so many windows open. You can just go close all. Close all will just reset you. You have like 30 windows open, maybe 20 windows open. I lost count of how many windows are open. But you just Window. Let's actually get out of here a second. Cancel. Go to Window, drop down, close all. Because we know how to recreate our reports, right? If you want to get your P&L, we're going to close everything down. Many windows open here. Okay, actually, now here's a quick trick. You can always close many windows and it stops with P&L. I press cancel, and I'm still in the P&L. I don't have to regenerate the P&L because it closed most of my windows, and it left me a balance sheet and profit and loss, which is actually what I want. I want to be able to refer to my balance sheet and my P&L. So you don't have to always cut, get out. You could save a P&L and then try again. Okay. Clearing out the last thing. I'm waiting for everyone to do the Mr. Gabay invoice. And so again, so we have right now we answered that one. Answer this one. So we cleared almost all the questions, down to 6 questions. So we have okay. So where do you see the little quantity box? Whenever you're making a purchase, when you're about to make a quantity, it's going to tell you. You could always check, see what you have left when you make a purchase, and the same thing when you're making a sale, you can have that little box to tell you when you're making a sale. Correct. Yes. So Muna, you got it right. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So now let's make a quick summary. Now let me go over to what I'm going to send you in the email. I'm going to show you new share. Where's this new share? Okay, syllabus. So this is, I'm going to be honest, you can always make a checkpoint at different stages. You can't, not everything you'll be able to do over because with time, things change. But for someone doing this from scratch, you want to go over all the recordings. This is listed how, maybe, well, someone has all the complete recordings. Okay. So we had here the chapter 1, we had the service items, we had 1 through 10. We create a company file, general services. We said the members' equity would be the same as retained earnings in the equity section. It doesn't make a difference as now. So we created number 1 service items, HK, BK, WD, GC. We gave it descriptions. We know what it is. We gave it price items. We created invoices. Now here's where I added, this is 1 check. After step 2, you'll be able to see what's your total invoices. Today, you wouldn't be able to do such a thing because we already added more invoices, but it's not entirely correct because if you know how to do the reports, you could view your invoices by date and you could go by, let's say it was 5/13, you'd be able to go back and check and see what did I, or 5/11, whatever date it was, what were my invoices from that date, 16/35. And the same thing with the received payments. You could see what was the total payments after receive. We still had 415 open. Today it changed. It's only 215 open because we already got the extra $200 from every Cohen. But if you would, play around with the report dates, you could check by dates of the classes. You'll see. Okay, so on this date we had the receipts open at 415. This day my invoices were 1635. Now the invoices are more. Maybe now the receivables are less. Same thing with enter bills. Once you entered all the original bills, I put in the check. There were some people that made a mistake and originally classified, let's say the asset was equipment and furniture, so they created the furniture asset expense. So you would double check your bills. Are my bills 2381? Only if it's an expense, it's a bill. Actually, I take that back. 178. The bills are 2081. You got to pay them. The bills are 2381, but the expense is not 2381. It's a different amount. What is that amount? Well, if you deduct the assets, which were about 1879, that's the rest of your expenses, right? We had assets at 12, 15, actually 1879. We paid bills. The total expenses would grow later on to 2581. Again, this is not really expenses. This is the extra 120 that we added. Remember Essence and Super. If we add it to 2381, that'll be extra bills. The bills will be, maybe I should change it right now before I give it out. Total bills. Bills not we'll fix that also. But you see where I'm going. I'm giving you checkpoints along the way so someone doesn't come after 20 steps and go find out where's the error. As you go along, you would self-check your bills, your invoices, and next class we're going to put like 10 questions out there. For everyone, we'll have a polling and you could throw in your answers and we're going to get a report of what people say. Okay, so I'll double check changes correctly before I give it out. Same thing with the sales receipts. The total sales for 2020 will be 1710, but the historical will be 1780 because you recall 770 was from last year. And that will show up on the members' equity. Members' equity is 1780, would be an extra 70. One more thing, I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to show, if you recall, remember the first $250 we put in? That was the opening balance we had, where is this? $500. We said it was opening balance equity. I moved that, I backdated this also to 5-ish click because if we're in business of 5-ish click, we're in business also 500. So we'll see members equity will be opening balance equity will be 500. That will be from the previous year. 70 would be from 5-ish click, would be from the end of 2031. So that would show up in our balance sheet. Now we have reports. The two bottom line numbers, when you make a report, what is your net income? So your net income is negative 721. That would be correct as of the date of, if you're including historical up until step 8, because we had really negative 791. So net income historical will be negative 721. Let's do it this way. Net income for 2020 is negative 791 because this historical brings me a $70 positive, right? We made sales of 1710. Last year I brought in $70. So if I count historically, I'm not negative 791, I'm only negative 721. That's the P&L as of step 8. But then when we add depreciation, Then we went 240 more, so that's how we went to negative 1031, which we'll see later on. But the bank balance was at this point was negative 77. But then we add 250. So now bank is not negative 77, bank is positive number, and it changes the equity. These are the shortcuts we had. You could review them. We went through all of them today. This is where we put depreciation for copper year for 240. And this is where net income goes to negative 1031. These are your checkpoints as you go along. And I'm going to give you the last checkpoint. Are you ready, prepared? We're going to do payroll after Shavuos. Coming over to the accounting, we have the 30 TLS, which we added. And obviously, you would want to know what was this invoice. So it's step 7. I'll give you the total of the invoice. And with this, we go over to the questions. If you remember, does anyone remember what the invoice was? It was 1,012.50, if I stand corrected, but I believe that's what it is. See, we could double check this. It's 700, it's 800, and we had this 25 of these, it's 200, so it's at 1,012.50. Additional income. So now when we add to 1050 to the negative 1031, we're better, right? One second. We also we sold another 100 over here to Mr. Gabay. So let's say the checkpoint for tonight is additional 1121. We had, if you made a report, if you would look only report of today, you would have the 100 from Rabbi Cohen. You have total additional income. Let's see, what was this today? For 525. And that should put us, if we go look at our P&L, we have a net income of 1150. Beautiful. Look how miraculously things turn around. We had negative 1031. Let's see why. Oh, it was negative 1031 for the year. It wasn't really negative 1031. It was really negative. Okay. Anyway, the bottom line is, we don't have to go the whole back of the counting. If we had made an extra 11.15 sales for income, and now we are in the clear. So we have a business. Okay, that's it for today's class. Those who want to leave can leave. Those who have questions, we're going to go by order of Q&A, or those that raise their hand. See the last questions. See 940 questions. Okay, the attendee who doesn't see the quantity box, get in line for the question. See under vendors tab. What is the exact difference to the options? When to use each one? Okay, so Devore's asking a very good question, and that is what we go through with navigations. And you know, this is, instead of going through 100 different options that you'll forget half of them, I decided this way: we select certain them, we reinforce them, we create invoices, we make bills, we make receipts. When I go to the navigations, you can say, oh, that one we did already, that one I know. And I'm going to introduce a few extra on each line. We go to reports. Oh, we did those reports already. Now the new reports, new bills, new preferences. Today we did a couple, right? We unchecked the beep. So if you want to do the beep, we unchecked we enabled inventory. So we're little by little, the puzzles are going to come together. And we're going to do a navigation tour after Shavuos. So that's for... okay, I got a yes. I don't know what the question is. Okay. Okay. 1250. Thank you, Ms. We got that. Okay. Oh, so again, the reason why I put 11, 1250 is I added $100 after my recalling we sold today. Okay, keeping track, but really you could do, if you want to have it, just here. This will be our checks, will be 10, 10, 1250, and okay, so sales 100, and then total income. So that you got that. This actually, I did this actually. Who gets debits and credits? We actually review the debits and credits. Okay, let me see back to the question. See, okay, so we're gonna do depreciation for anonymous next class. I was pointing out 24, the 240. Okay. I'm not on the screenshots of P&L on the balance sheet for today when you send the new material. Okay, thank you, Cheryl. Please send me an email reminder so I could do that for you or for everyone. Does that matter? Okay, now that I cleared out the Q&A, I'm gonna go over to the, okay, let's close the Q&A. Now I'm gonna go over to the chat, to the participants who are here and who have raised hands. So I'm gonna start with Esther. A lot of talk. Okay, hello. Is Esther here? Does she want to talk? A second here. I always gotta double check if it's my audio. Okay. If you have a problem with the audio, we'll give you another chance after. Okay. Let's try the next one here. We have Avrami. Oh, 1 second.
Hello?
Is it Avrami?
Yeah, hi. My P&L net income from December 31st is 49, is that correct? 49.
P&L for the year? Well,
Yes.
I have 1150. So we'll go down the line. What did you do in sales for the year?
2,860.
Okay, so we got to see. Yeah, this is maybe 2,860. You have, what do you have extra 3750? What do you have? Let's see, go on sales. Sales is the merchandise. We sold 100 chicken to one person, 212 to someone else. Do you have that? Or you have it all in the all under sales income? We'll go on sales income. You should have total 25. What do you? How did you break it up?
There's by you I see it says see by me Cone, where by Cone comes out like 4 times, but you multiplies separately.
By me it's one time.
Yes,
Are you on cash basis or accrual basis first of all?
Accrual.
Okay.
So the first invoice is 513.20 from Uncle Chaim from 225.
For who?
Uncle Chaim.
Okay, yes. Just give me the amounts here. Uncle Chaim to 25. Forget the dates.
Okay. Mr. Cook 140.
Yeah.
Cone 100. Cone 200. Cone 300.
For the benefit of those that are here, I'm going to share this as well. Okay. So we're back here. So you see, what do you have here?
So by Cone, I have like this 100, 200, 300. And then I have...
okay, you made a detailed report? Well, yeah, well...
Comes up, yeah, it's a detail, transaction detail by account.
So if I would double click on 600, I would have. This is a receipt for 600. 1, 2, 3. I have a different type of report. Are you using the same software, the 2020 desktop?
Yes, and for some reason, a lot of stuff are not the same as yours.
Are you the counted version? It says
Where did I see that?
on the top.
No, it says we do a little QuickBooks Desktop Pro 2020.
Quick Pro, okay.
I bought it actually because I need it for
Okay,
business.
fine. Okay, so listen, we see how everything makes a difference, right?
Mhm.
Nothing wrong with what you have, but when you're using a different software, it's like I have one chumash and you have a different print of a chumash, and we're trying to find everything lining up. So the bottom line is it's all the same anyway. You have a
Yeah,
total
okay,
of
so
600.
600.
Yeah.
And then ammonia is 270, ammonia 400.
Okay, so I have 670.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Holzklapper 75.
Yeah.
Cone 100.
Yeah, that was right.
Gabay 250, Gabay 100, and Gabay 700.
No, you have too much in Gabe. What do you have? Because you didn't. Okay. I'm sorry. I should have realized right away. You didn't adjust him. He pays $850, not $10. I should have done the math. Gabe pays $850 for his farm. Go back to the invoice and overwrite the $10 to $850.
Which invoice?
Gabe's invoice. Gabe has one invoice. You didn't make 3 different invoices. It's one
No,
invoice.
correct. So how much you pay on?
$850. So that takes care of your thing.
Where'd I do it?
Open up the invoice, and where it says the amount, $10, change it to $850, and the rest should be okay. Okay, so
$8. I don't get it.
what?
The rate is 10. Is 10.
Right,
And the amount?
Change it to $850. Change the rate to $850, and you're good to go. Okay.
So it's 2,822.50. That's the total.
Okay, so what's your income now for the year?
Let me go back.
So well, we know it's 11. We know it's 1150.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Perfect. So you're good. Okay. Go back to Esther. Maybe it was my error. Allowed to talk mute. Is Esther here? Okay, is Esther here? Okay, we're gonna try the next one. Please raise your hand again if you have a question. Let's go over to, where is this here? Okay. Judy? See, unmute. So muting. Is Judy here?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, thank you for answering for me. I was following you for the number 6. I entered Gabay, and instead of Mr., I put dash Shomer Shabbos in my invoice.
Okay, it doesn't make any difference.
How do I get-
How do you get to what?
How do I get rid of, on the invoice, you had Gabay and you said Mr., but I already typed in and saved Shomer Shabbos. So how do I get rid of it?
Okay, so what's really important for the purpose of this class is you made one customer, you made an invoice for the right amount. Now,
what I did is I went down and I started a second one.
Okay, so you should only have one invoice. Now I will show you. I'll show you how. Again, I don't know what's on your screen, what's open, what's not, but I can tell you how to edit a customer. For example, if you're a customer center and you go to Gabay, Mr. However, Gabay.
One second. I need to.
I'm waiting.
Out. Okay,
you go to customers.
Yeah.
And you go to Gabay.
Right.
And you go to the edit button. That's a pencil on the top over here.
One second. Customer. One second.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Create invoice? No.
No. Okay, just customer center. Just nothing. Customer center. Right. Customer center.
Got it.
You're by Mr. Gabay, right? You create or whichever one it is. Which you have 2 customers or 1 customer with that?
2.
Okay. You created an invoice for any of them yet?
Yes, I did 2 of them, but one is 0 because Gabi Shomrei.
Okay. This is the simplest thing.
Is dollars.
Okay. Whoever's 0, right click and delete.
That's what I want to know. Wherever is 0, right click.
Right click and delete him. You have a delete customer right here. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Drop
delete
down.
customer. Thank you.
Now there's customers and jobs. Jobs are step down. We'll learn about customer jobs another time. But now you deleted him. Now that other person, you could.
No, I still have a question on Mr. Gabai.
Yeah. So now, if you want to edit the way he looks, go right click. I mean, not right click. You could right click and edit the customer. That's what's one way. Right click, edit customer.
But I'm fine. The
Huh?
only thing is I didn't know where you put the 5HK and the 7GC. I typed it, but I don't see it anywhere.
1 second. It's open the invoice. If I open the invoice, you do. What did you do? You created this. What did you create? You created for that customer what? You made.
I don't know. I have customer information 1,012.50.
Okay.
And where will
So,
we-
okay. So 1 second. 1 second.
5HK.
One moment. Maybe did it. You have a customer 1,000. So you have the customer. In the right pane, you should have an invoice. You see the invoice on the right side? It says 1,050.
Yeah, 5. I have that.
Yeah. Double click on it.
On the 5?
No. Anywhere. Anything that's highlighted. Anywhere on the thing.
Okay.
It brings you the invoice, and you'll see how did you did it somehow. Get your number.
I know, but now it says problem. You are trying to view a different invoice, but you already have one open.
Okay. So press and press cancel or whatever. There's something to cancel.
Discard changes, continue.
This
edit.
card should continue. Yeah.
Discard changes?
This card changes, right?
Okay. Oh, now my screen matches yours.
Okay. So there you
So
go.
how did that happen? Where did the screen
You,
go?
you probably tried to make a second identical invoice with another name, and you're in the middle of it, and you're going trying to go back,
Right.
and it still keeps it open, so you can. You
Oh.
have to do one invoice at a time, one bill at a time.
Okay.
So
I
we
think-
got rid of the customer, we got rid of the invoice, and we're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Now
You're
I
welcome.
save and no.
Huh?
I hit save and no.
Okay. So we'll be number 6. We'll do the next class.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's see, 1 second. We go. Irina's there, but we'll first go with Esther. We're trying to get Esther online a bunch of times. I think we're gonna. Where's this? Participants. Okay. Allow to talk. Mute. This one. Hello? Hello, Esther? Hello? Okay, who talks first? We're gonna unmute Irina.
You hear me?
So now I have Irina on the Esther. So who's talking now? Irina's talking?
No. Hello, do you hear me?
Who's this?
Esther.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay. So I saw on the balance sheet before you had like your balance sheet, my profit and losses is the same. Like the net income is the same, but
What's that? You got 1150 for the year?
Yeah.
Okay. The
but,
balance sheet, very important. What is the date of your balance sheet?
hold on one second.
Right now I'm showing as of May 26th. So it shows as of R. It's going to change because I have depreciation expense accumulation.
Okay. So I'm gonna do right now it's May 25th. That's the
Do 1231 just because I did something else. Do R, which is for the end of the year.
okay, so now it's correct. I guess that's what because in the middle of the class it wasn't correct.
Okay, but the reason because I did my sale to Rabbi Cohen for $100, and the invoice and the inventory I did it as of yesterday's date. I was preparing the class, and I was just doing the demonstration today. So that's. But if you have it the same, that's what counts. You got the same.
Okay, fine. And then also, I guess I see on top my QuickBooks is not accountant. It says QuickBooks Premier Edition 2019. So that's why I don't see the inventory, like how to see what we have on hand. That makes sense.
Let me just collapse this so they don't see the balance. My screen is not showing the whole amount. Okay, I just collapsed one of the lines. Which doesn't. Okay, what was your question?
I don't see the black square that says like the inventory. Is there a way
Right.
to change it if I have the Premier Edition from
What do you mean?
2019?
You don't see, if in your balance sheet, you don't see inventory?
No, not on the balance sheet. Like when, you know, the little black square to see like how much inventory you have on hand.
Right. So when you create it, when you create an invoice, let's see, Control I, and I put in, let's say TLS, it doesn't come up with you a little box showing what the, huh? Okay, and I have to look at this. Which software do you have?
I don't have the accountant one. I have QuickBooks Premier Edition.
You had your own previously? There might be an enabling in the preferences. If you go to edit preferences, you see edit preferences, item and inventory. Let me know when you're up to where I am.
Yeah.
And you go to company preferences, then you're telling them you want to have, when you calculate, you want to have, besides tracking general inventory, you have pending bills or sales orders, so some people you have an inventory, but it's parts for something. So you also have bills, then you have just sales orders, there's different checks. So there's different settings. Warn if not enough, what?
Mine is the same as yours. The only thing I don't have is quantity on sales orders.
So that's the difference. When calculating, you do sales, well, maybe not. Well, make sure that it is checked and see what happens. Make sure you have the same view here. Inventory.
Option. It's not.
Oh, it doesn't give you an option.
Yeah.
So let's see. If I would take out sales orders and I would take out bills, let's say I will do that. And I'll come. Okay, let's close all the windows. Fine. No, not saving this. I'll run through this as a test drive. Yeah. Refreshing. Okay, let's see what happens. Again, that's what we gave. Anyway, we gave out licenses. I appreciate. In the beginning, we didn't know how many people were coming. And people who had licenses. It was good they held them, but there's a few tweaks that come differently. So I'm going to assume you have Premier and someone else has Pro and someone else has Accountant. And trying to see. Okay, so it says creating a new invoice. Okay, create a new invoice. I'll put in TLS. I still got the box. So the box is probably something connected to the accountant version. It's not, or at least not from those issues that I showed you before, because I changed it. You saw that, right? If I click now on my box, I don't see my on hand. See, it doesn't. Before it was whited out. All it's pointed out on hand 45, and that's it. That changes a purchase order, but you don't have that box. Maybe it's your software, maybe it's something else. I have to look into that as well. But at least we got you the right P&L on that. And
okay. And when I zoom into like a detailed account, it says like you have debits and credits on your columns. I don't have that. Is there a way to change that so I could see, or I have like amount balance. Like one column is amount, one column is balance.
it could be it's in the settings of the reports. You did a report company standard. Where are you talking about now? Remind me.
Say I'll go to report profit and loss standard, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll double click on let's say the sales for 2,822.
Let's say you have 2822 for the year. Double click on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you debits and credits.
Have debit, credit, and balance. I just have amount and balance.
You what?
The column I have is amount and balance.
Okay, so probably has to do with customizing the report. Again, there's certain, just like I told you, when you create a company, you have chart of accounts, which gives you a generic for the company. Accountant's version gives you different views how you want to look at. Now people think, oh, debits and credits is only accounting. Why are you treating as accounting? Well, the whole point of journals, when I do depreciation, I do all these things, it's going to be journal entries, and you have to understand the debits and credits. That's how you track everything. So accountants work all the time with that. Let's say, I know, filters, wait, no, what are you showing over here? Account, amount. I have here, I have to look, but could be, I have to do something with the order, with the standard report, show header information, report, no.
How did you get to this screen?
No, at the customer's report, but again, I don't know your screen. So I have to see on my screen what's the report range, like the settings, columns, you know, there's a type, oh here at the bottom, type, date, number, name, memo, balance. Yes, I have it. So it's going down the list. I have to have the margin, I have to type. Then say it would be a date. Shows the date. And there's a number. And there's a name, you know, going through. These are the fields that are highlights. And this memo coming up. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah, I'm here. I see it.
Yeah, so I didn't select. There's a check where you want after memo will go. Okay, split is automatic. This clear is a column. No, it's not bringing debits and credits here as a check. I think that maybe that's here, debit and credit. There you go.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So that's, see, actually, I'm doing this as with actually this particular thing. You know, you know, some things are intuitive. Once you go into it, you see what you pull up. But this is a default for accounting because that's how we check everything.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, now, yeah. Okay, so you're gonna go, and I think Irina's been waiting patiently, so you're on. You could start speaking.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a question before about the balance on the bottom of the banking register. It's the same as yours, 618 ending balance. However, when you go to balance, all the way on the right side, the column under where it says bill payment, office rentals, accounts payable.
Was it again? Your question is on the balance sheet, not on the register. Register is 618, right?
Yeah. So when you go to banking, use register.
Yeah, but the short, but the short, if you on the balance sheet itself, you could do that. If you go into your balance sheet and you double click on the bank, it'll bring you. It's also could bring you to the bank. If you go into 68, double click here.
How did you get there again? Balance sheets, reports,
I'm in the reports.
balance sheet standard.
Yeah, balance sheet standard, and just pick for put an R by the date, so it gives you the end of the year. It's just for argument's sake.
R as of R, just
As of
control.
R, yeah.
Control.
No, just R.
Just R. Okay, hold on. Let me try that. Okay. So I'm just looking if I have the same thing as yours.
So you have 618 in the bank?
Yes.
Accounts
So-
receivable?
So far, it looks like everything is the same as yours.
90 the same, yeah.
Everything is the same. Just, I don't know, it was just
Okay,
weird.
so stop at total assets. What do you got?
Total assets,
It's the
3,774.50.
same. Yeah, yeah, you got it right.
Same.
You got it right.
So how come it was different under the banking register?
Which bank? Where?
When you go to banking, use register,
It's the same thing. Bank register 618.
where it says balance, the first column, where is office rentals? It says
Wait,
1,000.
wait. In the bank register over here,
Yes.
right?
So your balance for, hold on a second, just close this window. Your balance, your first, maybe I don't know.
Okay. Oh, I said before, I moved my $500 higher up. I remember opening balance equity was
Yeah.
into 2020. I just moved it back to 12/1/2019. So you could edit that. Just edit the date from that item.
But not only that, mine shows negative 1,500 under office rentals. Does that make sense?
What's that? Right. What is the bottom of your register? On the bottom over here. So
618, yeah.
So that's the correct number. So you want,
So it doesn't matter, right? It's fine, everything's
I mean, the
good?
question is, maybe you put something out of order. Maybe your deposits of 1220, you put after the 1500, and therefore you show, this is like a register. Okay, the 618 is the bottom line if everything went today. On the balance, it's giving you as you go. I put in money, you write out checks. What's my running balance? So your running balance is here, and if you put your checks before your deposits, you're showing a negative. So people do that. They want to prepare all their checks, but then they hold checks until the money goes in. But
So it's all about the order, you're saying?
yeah, it has to do with the order.
Uh-huh.
If
So,
I'll
but,
tell you what, if I could even sort at the bottom, I could sort it in a different order, and all of a sudden, it's one thing else you have red. I didn't have red. If I would do amounts largest first, I put a different order. I put all the deposits, right? There's different ways to sort it. I do smallest first. Here, if I do it this way, now I'm a negative. You see, maybe if I just sort it smallest to largest.
so mine is sorted by date, type, and number.
Yeah. So then, but then it has to do with the date you put in. Like, what's the date?
Oh, yeah, so now I see you have negatives also.
Yeah. Well, no, I changed it out. So, what is the date of your offers rentals? What is the date of your deposit of 1220? My deposit is 518 for my 1220. My office rentals is 519. So if my 1500 is going out after my deposit, I don't have a negative.
I see. Okay, because my office rental was 12/28/2019. That's probably why.
Oh, you put it at the end of the year, so
That's
gotta
why.
change it 5 to 518.
How do I change it to
Overwrite. You overwrite the date and you press record. Change the date and you press record.
Oh, okay, and also on the, what is this, 5/13/2020 transfer opening balance equity?
Yeah, I changed that to 12/1/2019 because the first thing has to be opening balance. You don't have opening balance after you're in business. So next class, I'm going to tell everyone to change it. I spoke
It's
about
still
it today.
kind of confusing. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but this whole,
Again, so I said for now, all you got to know is that if you want to get it, no, I'll do this for you now because so you shouldn't have difficulty next class and you're the one here. Change opening balance to 12/1/19. Change your deposit date to 5/18, and you should be good to go.
hold on, opening balance to 12/1/19.
Oh, actually, why 12/19? Yeah, it was last year, right? Exactly.
12/1/2019. And
And
then what else?
well, that was it. And what was the office rentals? What is the office rentals?
12/28/2019.
Change it to 5/19. What's it? Then you have your whole income from last year. You're not even showing this year's income. Everything is 2020, besides the two things: the first $500 and the 12/28. And these are the dates of the classes. We did things on 5/18. We did things on 5/25.
I don't know. I guess I wasn't paying attention to what
The
you
dates.
did.
Okay. So that's.
So how do I change the date? It's not letting me change the office rentals.
No, could you do what you didn't press record in the first one? Did you changed opening balance?
Yeah, now it's 12/1/2019.
But you didn't save it. You got to press record.
Okay, I'll press record
And once you
now.
press, then you could go do another one.
Oh, okay. So office rental is what you said?
Now, in addition to doing record, you could just press tab extra time and it'll do it.
Tab.
No, when you go to say office rentals and you write the date,
Uh-huh.
you could press a bunch of tabs afterwards and it gets you through the whole section. And then
But it's
you
not.
just-
Mm-hmm.
And then
But
it'll
it's not-
ask you, do you want to save it?
Yeah, but it's not going to the date. It's going straight to the number type.
Double click on the date.
It's not
Hold on.
going to the date.
Yes.
It's skipping the date and it's going to number type column.
Office rentals. I'm doing it. What? Okay, so you put the what's the restore? Maybe this is here. Maybe you didn't. See what's going on here? Okay, you're right because it's a bill payment, so you have to double click on it for this case.
Double click on
Double click on bill payment. And what is daily bill payment?
it. Okay, so change it there. Okay, it's
Yeah.
12/28/2019.
Yeah, check the
Office
519.
rental.
In general, because we're gonna when we're gonna start doing reports, you're not gonna come with the same reports because the dates are different.
Right.
You know, we're doing everything as a. So I'm gonna email the.
And then save and close.
Yeah. Now you go back to your register, you shouldn't have any,
No negatives. Okay, I feel better now. Also, whatever you went through at the end of the class, that whole review that you had, the syllabus,
I'm sending it out.
you're gonna send it out to
Yeah,
us?
yeah.
Are we supposed to do anything with that, or?
No, it's a review. Some people are starting from scratch. I don't know what people are doing, but it's a review where you see checkpoints. We're really do depreciation and do a little more inventory next time.
Okay,
And I'm gonna have a quiz next time. We have 10 to maybe 15 questions. We'll see exactly.
no, I'm not gonna do well on it probably.
It's a test. It's not to catch people. The quiz is just as an assessment, and you can see the areas need improvement. The objective is that people who finish this course should go into an office and knowing what they're doing. If you're not gonna, right, so we're doing it. We do actually 3 times. I wrote in the thing in the middle, the end. But I think we'll do twice after Shavuos, and like every 2 weeks. Now we're doing after almost a month. There's 4 more. There's 3 weeks after Shavuos or so, 3.5. So we're going to pick the middle class for another test, and then the last one. And then you can get it if you hopefully if you get through our quizzes, you can take the quiz of the certification and get the certificate.
Okay, sounds good. Hopefully, thank you very much. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
Okay, fine. So I see there's no more questions, so we're going to end the meeting. Whoever has a question right now, you get a few more seconds to make a shout out. Okay, fine. Okay. Stop. See stop share. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. See you, Mr. Hashem, on Wednesday evening.